Hi guys, Nicole here, the Harmonious Hippie. Today we're going to be doing a full flow, and this flow is going to be centered around self-love, self-acceptance, and body positivity. So I encourage you to find a place where you can do this flow and really tune into your body and some gratitude for your body. I'm going to be cueing a lot of different variations. So find the variation that best suits you, and just know that wherever you are at in your practice is exactly where you are meant to be. So if there's a variation that you think is a more advanced version of the posture, there's no such thing. It's just a different way of taking that shape. So please try and think like that throughout this practice. And just know that I really want you to tune into your body, do what's safe and what feels good for you. And maybe you end up doing something with your body that you never have done before, and you can feel very proud of yourself. Or if you just get on your mat, I want you to feel really proud of yourself for doing that as well. So please join me for this. Maybe bring a water bottle with you, perhaps a towel if you're sweating like I am, just sitting here. And just really be ready to tune into and love your body. Maybe bring any talismans you have. Maybe a rose quartz crystal is really good for self-love and self-acceptance. And be ready to have fun. Okay guys, so we're gonna start off in an easy seat, Sukhasana. You can bring a prop under your sit bones if that helps with that anterior tilt to the pelvis. You want your knees to be coming down a little bit lower than your hips. So just bring a pillow, maybe a block or something like that under your sit bones so that you can feel comfortable. We're not going to be here for too long. If you do find this uncomfortable on your knees or your legs, you can also do this sitting in a chair. You can sit with your legs out straight or perhaps up, but just making sure that you're not leaning back too far in that. So coming to your pose here, hands can come to the knees, either palms down for grounding or palms up to receive energy, closing down the eyes, rolling the shoulders up and back to open across the chest. Coming to your breath here. As usual, just tuning in and finding your anchor point. And this is just the place in your body where you most feel your breath, the nostrils, the throat, chest or the belly. I'm not trying to change or deepen anything here, just observing your breath, noticing the tempo of that breath. If you're doing this practice at the end of the day, after a work day or something like that, the breath will typically tend to be a little bit more hurried and short. Just noticing that without judgment. There's no wrong answer here. Just observing that. And now tuning into your body. Noticing any places within the body where you feel sensation. Tingling somewhere as you do a quick body scan from the top of the head down to the toes. Perhaps you notice that when your attention is focused on a certain part of your body, maybe you do feel some heat there, tingling, or maybe you don't. That's totally fine as well. Just tuning in, noticing where there's tightness or gripping. I'm just scanning down into the lower half of the body. Just noticing what's going on in your body. Coming back to your breath, we're going to do a quick breathing exercise here. Just to really tune in further, we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing. So with this technique, you're going to use your thumb and your ring finger to plug your nostrils, and then your two fingers in the middle can just come to your third eye in the center. So using your thumb to plug your right nostril, you're going to inhale through your left nostril. Hold that breath in for a moment, then plugging the left nostril with your ring finger and releasing your thumb, you're going to exhale through the right nostril. Perhaps pausing on the empty breath, inhaling through the right. Pausing for a moment at the top, plugging the right nostril, releasing the left, and exhaling through the left. Inhaling left. And releasing and exhaling right. Inhale right. And releasing and exhaling left. Carrying on with this for a couple more breaths. Just noticing, perhaps there's one nostril that is not as easy to inhale or exhale through. I have a bit of a deviated septum, so if you have that like me, you might find that one nostril feels like you can't bring as much air in. But just staying calm, noticing that you're always going to have that air that you need. Perhaps you didn't realize that you were stuffy, and now you're realizing that it is harder than you thought to breathe through your nostrils. I'm just taking one last inhale and switching sides to exhale. Releasing that hand down, taking a full breath in through the nose. And we're going to take a couple of cleansing breaths now. So a deep inhale through the nose. And opening the mouth, sigh it out. Not feeling self-conscious or judged in any way, to fully release that breath as loud as you want. Inhale through the nose. And opening the mouth. We'll do one more, just fully releasing any last bit of energy that you're holding on to. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, sigh. If they're not already, you can begin to blink open the eyes. We're now joined by Herman. He does love a meditation. So bringing the hands down on the knees, we're going to begin to move into Surya Om or Sufi grind. This is more of a Kundalini posture, but I find it's really nice to work into the hips at the beginning of your practice and get your body moving a little bit. So we're going to start to rotate around. If you're up on something high like a block, you might want to come down flat to the ground. If you're on something here like a pillow, that's fine. You just want to make sure that you're not going to fall down and be able to have your full range of motion. So on your inhales, you want to rotate the chest forward. And on your exhales, curling back, almost like a cat-cow movement. And you can go as slow or as quick as you want. Your circles can be tiny or large. You can perhaps start to bring the neck into the movement. And again, just tuning in with our body here. Noticing how this feels. Is there some release that you can feel, something being stretched or moved that you didn't even realize needed that? Is there something uncomfortable? See if you can wiggle around, adjust anything, change something to make that more comfortable. You are here today for your body. Your last exhale, let's switch directions. You can close down the eyes if that's comfortable. Just rotating around. Completing your last circle and just coming back to a neutral spine. We're going to do a quick little neck stretch here. So releasing the arms down by your sides. Maybe the fingertips touch. If they don't, that's fine too. I'm a little bit high up here, so my fingertips are not quite down. We're going to bring our right ear to our right shoulder. And then making sure that you're not bringing those shoulders up to meet your ears, just extending both arms down. And we're gonna walk our left hand out to the side. If it doesn't stay on the mat, that's fine, it can lift up. Just making sure that those shoulders are released down and stretching through that arm to feel that stretch in the side of the neck here. Breathing here. You can find some other stretch in the neck here by perhaps tilting the chin down. Noticing how that stretch moves more towards the back of the neck. Or you can start to bring the chin up a little bit, noticing how that changes things. Or you can just stay neutral here. Inhaling the head back to center and exhaling that left ear to the left shoulder. Again, noticing where the shoulders are, keep them rotated down, and starting to walk that right arm out to the side. Inhaling here. Perhaps tilting the chin to look down and feel that stretch working farther back in your neck. And bringing the gaze up slightly. Back to center, rolling the shoulders up and back, up and back. We're gonna remove our prop here and come into tabletop position. So hands can be stacked with the wrists under the shoulders, knees are stacked under the hips. We're gonna bring ourselves into some cat-cows here. Now this is a position that I find a lot of people can feel a little bit self-conscious doing and getting into the full expression. I find, especially with women, we have a tendency to be constantly holding in our stomachs because, Lord forbid, we have a little paunch, right? But we're trying to let our body do what it needs today and appreciate our body for what it is. So I want to make sure that you are letting yourself release into these postures. So let's go ahead and let our bellies just release and hang down. And when we inhale, we're going to drop that belly even farther, arching the back, lifting the tailbone up, shining that chest forward, and perhaps the gaze comes up. If that's not comfortable for the neck, the gaze can just stay down at the ground or neutral. Really inhaling, filling the belly here, not even being concerned in any way of what your belly might look like right now. Just letting that spine get that motion in there and letting the belly release, inhaling deeply. And on your exhale, beginning to curl the tailbone up, sucking that navel to spine, squeezing all that air out, pressing into the hands and stretching into that upper back. Inhaling again, dropping the belly, curving the spine up. And exhaling, curling into that angry cat. Squeezing that air out. You can close down the eyes here if that's comfortable, flowing with your own breath. Just really feeling into that spine and seeing how that feels. If it's comfortable and you would like to get more motion, you can start to intuitively move with what feels comfortable. Perhaps breathing to the side, your inhales bringing your belly down into the other side and your exhales up. Making some circles here, letting the neck just go. Just tuning into what feels right in your body. Switching directions if you are making circles. And completing your last exhale, keeping the spine neutral. We're just gonna rock back and forth a little bit just to feel into those wrists. Especially with technology as it is today, a lot of us are on the computer a lot, on our cell phones, and our wrists can get quite tight. So we just really want to work on releasing that here. Pressing into those knuckles and the fingers so those aren't coming up. Just giving a few rocks here, turning the fingers out to the sides of your mat, and beginning to make circles here. Feeling your comfort level here. Just making as small or as large of circles as you feel comfortable with in your wrists. Breathing here, making sure that we're not arching into the back. You want to keep a neutral spine to keep the back safe here. And switching directions of those circles. Just releasing that tightness. And then we are going to bring the tops of the hands down onto the ground. You can move your hands far away from you or close up to your knees. We want to try and straighten the arms. I like to try and rotate the eyes of my elbows forward, but it doesn't really matter. It's just wherever you best feel the stretch in your forearm here. But just trying to keep straight. And then we're going to sit back into that stretch and try and make little fists here. Just working into those forearms. For some people, this can be quite intense. I find that my wrists are quite tight going in the other direction when I'm stretching back into my wrist. So this way is considerably easier for me. So it just depends on the makeup of your wrists as well. And then we're gonna inhale, sitting back on our heels, and just shake those fingers out, let those wrists go. Almost think of flicking water off the ends of your fingers. Shaking those out, and then giving them an up and down shake as well. This one always feels very odd to me after I've stretched my wrists out. And rotating those a little. Perfect. All right, we're gonna do some threading the needle now. So coming back to all fours here, we're gonna take our right arm and inhale that open and up to the sky, trying to keep your hips somewhat even here, so you don't wanna be, flying that hip out to the side. Try and stay even and think of peeling the chest open from your thoracic mid-spine, so you can't go as far usually. So that's okay, just looking up at your fingers or gazing down at that hand. Inhale, and on your exhale, you're gonna take this top arm and thread it under the bottom. So I'm gonna turn here so you can see me better. So inhale, and then exhale, threading through, bringing the side of the face towards the arm, and then checking in with your hips here. Are they leaning one way or another? Trying to keep those even. Breathing into that upper back, you can stay here, or if you'd like, you can take this left hand and walk it up over the head to help peel that chest open to the sky. You can take your left leg as well and open that out to the side, almost like in a gate pose. And if you would like to test your balance here, you can also inhale this arm up and take a half bind, and you can lift this left leg off the ground, pressing into that shoulder, making sure that you're not pressing with too much weight into your neck. Breathing there, perhaps coming back down. Just doing whatever's comfortable for you. If you fall and roll over to the side, that's totally fine. Just coming back to the posture, trying to rotate into that upper back. And bringing that hand back down in front of the face, perhaps bringing the leg in if it was out. And we're gonna start to press into our left hand. Inhaling, rotating that arm up again, and exhaling it back down to the ground. Now we're gonna switch to the left side. So we're gonna inhale that left arm up, and exhale, threading the needle, thread it under that right arm. Bringing the face down. Staying here, or moving that hand up overhead to twist your body open more. Perhaps opening that right leg out into a gate pose. Perhaps coming into that half bind. And maybe lifting up that right leg. No judgment here. I find, especially with balance poses, there's a tendency to feel really bad if you can't balance like you normally would. But I find my balance is different day to day. I've been doing headstands since I was quite young, as I was in gymnastics. But then some days you would think it was my first day attempting one. So never bringing judgment on yourself. Every day is different. Your body has different days, especially for women near our cycle. Sometimes our balance can be a little bit off. Bringing that arm in under the face, perhaps bringing the knee back in. And pressing into that right arm, inhaling that left arm up overhead and back down. Let's bring the toes together, knees out wide, sinking back into our wide-legged child's pose. Forehead comes to the mat. If you want to give your shoulders a break, you can bring the arms down by your sides. You can even thread them through and grab your heels. Whatever is the most comfortable here. Just relaxing for a minute. And inhale, slowly bringing your hands back up. And we are going to move into some sun salutations. Excuse me. So coming to standing, you can curl the toes under and come up through your downward dog if you'd like to. Whatever feels the most comfortable. Just coming up slowly, making sure that you're not jumping up too quickly. You don't want to get dizzy or anything like that. So we're going to come to Tadasana, mountain pose. In this posture, you want to check in with your feet. Noticing the width of the feet, you don't want them super wide, just about hip width apart. Sometimes it's comfortable for people to come with the toes together. I have bow legs quite a bit, so for that my knees are basically pointing in. So I'm gonna keep a little bit of space between my feet. Usually about 2 fists width is perfect. Now, with the natural anatomy, the spine tends to come, cat hair in my mouth, what else is new? From the top of the neck, curving around, and then in the lower back, it'll curve in. So we want to take that natural curve and we want to start to sink the tailbone down towards the feet. Now this isn't something that you want to necessarily do with your glutes, so you don't want to just squeeze your glutes and have that be it. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of pressure in the glutes just to hold the pose, but try not to squeeze your glutes with everything you have. Let them be a little bit relaxed. So starting to tilt that tailbone down, the pelvis will start to lift up and navel will begin to come towards the spine. Again, this is just a feeling because you want to have that energy pulling in. So if you're pulling navel to spine, this isn't something that we're doing to look skinny. Always appreciating where your body's at. We're just doing this to hold the posture. So dropping that tailbone down, pelvis comes up, navel to spine, and then rolling the shoulders up and back, palms facing forward. Feeling that energy pulling up, perhaps lifting up the toes just to get a bit of that feeling of energy pulling up through the arches of the feet. The knees are pulling up the legs, quads are engaged, feeling that core pulled in nice and steady, and feeling nice and strong here. Taking a moment here, feeling the strength of your body holding you. Noticing how strong and steady your legs are. Feeling the strength of the core. Let's go ahead and bring our hands down right underneath our belly button here, right onto the lower belly. And feeling the breath coming in and out. feeling the strength and the tension in that core. And just noticing, perhaps throughout the day, you spend a lot of time holding the core in like this, whether it be for balance or to hide what you think is wrong. And just realizing that no matter what shape your body makes, that it is there for you, holding you, moving you. Perhaps it's held and created life. And through the palms of your hands, with your next breath, just sending thanks and gratitude into this area of the body that so many of us are sending judgment throughout our day. And of course, everything comes in little baby steps. So while this lone practice isn't going to make you fall completely in love with your body and get rid of years and years of ingrained ideas about what we should be, maybe just allowing just this moment in time, just a quick couple of minutes, couple of breaths, to be bathed in self-love and gratitude, appreciating everything that your body's done for you. We're going to inhale and sweep the arms up overhead. The palms come to touch. You can take a little baby back bend here. And then exhaling, we're going to swan dive down, draping the body over the legs. For this first forward fold, let's bend the knees deeply. Letting the upper thighs hold our body. Perhaps you find a bit of compression on the belly here, feeling like it might be a little bit harder to breathe with the belly on the legs. I certainly find this myself. Just letting that be and inhaling deeply into the belly, feeling it squeezing against the legs, massaging your organs. We're gonna straighten the legs slightly and inhale to a halfway lift. You wanna have a flat back here so hands can come up to the shins, they can come up to the thighs, just never on the knees. And then exhaling, draping the body back down. We're gonna plant the hands here and you are going to step back into your high plank. You can drop the knees here if that's more comfortable for you. And bringing the elbows tight to the body, we're gonna come down through knees, chest, chin. So if your knees are already on the ground, that's great. We're gonna slowly start to bring the chest and the chin. So bum is up, and then relaxing the body down flat on the ground. Feeling that front body pressing into the ground. Bringing the hands up under the shoulders here. We're gonna start to inhale, not using the pressure of the hands, but we're gonna use the strength of our back. So peeling those shoulders back, we're gonna start to inhale, pressing into the belly, and beginning to shine that chest forward, bringing that head up, lifting the hands, testing your strength, and exhaling back down. So this is our baby cobra. Let's do that once more. Rolling the shoulders up and back, and inhaling up, pressing the belly into the ground, and exhaling back down. We're gonna press into our hands and come through our tabletop position. So curling the toes under here, we're gonna press up into our downward facing dog. So pressing into those fingers, spread wide. You're gonna start to lift your tailbone up high. You can step your feet in or farther back. Everybody's body is made up differently, so you might need to adjust here. And starting to relax the heels towards the ground. They may never touch the ground, that is totally fine. Knees can also stay slightly bent here, especially if you have a tendency to hyperextend your knees. You wanna bring a little micro bend into those knees. Checking in with the hands, pressing into those knuckles to take the pressure off the wrists. You wanna sink the head in between the shoulders And think of lifting the tailbone up to the sky. In doing this position, sometimes we can really focus on that arch in the back and let our ribs splay open. So you want to check in here, have a slight engagement in the core. So draw that navel in slightly and then zip in that rib cage. Breathing here. Inhaling, gazing up at the thumbs. You can step, hop, take a bunch of steps up to your Uttanasana, forward fold, letting the head hang here. Inhaling to our halfway lift, flat back. And exhaling, folding down. Bending the knees deeply. We're going to inhale and sweep our arms up overhead. Palms come to touch. And exhale, the hands come down to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Pausing here for a moment. Feeling into the body. Seeing if anything's changed, what heat has been brought into the body. Perhaps you're profusely sweating like I am. Not having any judgment here, whether you found that super easy or super hard. That's exactly what it was meant to be for you. Just wiping that sweat off, and here we go again. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Palms come to touch, perhaps taking a little back bend here, and then exhale, sweeping forward. Draping that body over your legs. You can have the knees bent or straight here. Inhale to your flat back, halfway lift. And exhale, folding down, planting the hands, stepping back to our high plank. You can take your full chaturanga here if it's in your practice, or we can drop knees, chest, chin. Releasing down onto our front body. You can sweep up into your upward facing dog, or taking that baby cobra. Exhaling down, pressing back, lifting the hips into our downward facing dog. Let's take a breath here. Inhale, gaze up at the thumbs. You can bend the knees and hop or step to the front of your mat into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. We're going to deeply bend the knees, sweep the arms up overhead, palms come to touch. And exhale, palms come down through heart center, Anjali Mudra. Now we did 2 sun salutations, and in honor of the recent full moon, I will likely be posting this next Saturday. So that'll be a week after the full moon, but in any case, we should always honor both. So with a moon salutation, you're actually going to be moving side to side instead of front to back like with the sun salutation. So we're going to come to our Tadasana, mountain pose, facing the long edge of our mat. Starting at the top, we're going to inhale the arms up overhead. Palms come to touch. And then thinking of extending through the ribs and coming up and over a beach ball. We're going to breathe into that side body. Try not to collapse down. Coming into that side bend. Inhaling up. And exhaling to the other side. Inhaling up. We are going to sweep the arms out and step the legs out wide here. So we are going to bring the toes out wider than the knees. We're gonna lift the arms up to roll the shoulders back into our goddess arms here. So think of pushing your wrists farther back, and that's gonna help you extend that open, pull that chest open, keep those shoulders rolled down, nice and strong. You're gonna tuck your pelvis, and we're gonna exhale, beginning to bend the knees. You want to check in with the knees, making sure they're not coming very far forward from the feet, so you might want to wiggle your heels in farther, and sitting down into our goddess pose. So making sure you're not fully forward, you want to try and sit equal with your hips. Breathing here, feeling that little burn, coming up straight, hands come to the hips, wiggle those toes in, and then protracting the chin as if you're painting down the front wall. We're going to extend down into our wide-legged forward fold. Hands can come down here, making sure that you're not pressing back into the knees. You want to have active legs here. And exhaling, draping the body down. Perhaps you're reaching for opposite elbows, perhaps the feet. Whatever's comfortable here. Breathing into that stretch. Inhaling back up. Bending slightly into the knees, hands come to the hips, and using the core to pull you back up. We're going to open our toes. Whether you started from the right side of the room and are moving to the left, open up the toes to the side that you're moving towards. We're gonna open the arms up wide, keeping the hips square. We're gonna bend that front knee into our warrior two. You can flip the palms up to roll the shoulders down the back and bringing them back forward, tucking that tailbone. Gaze, your drishti is at the middle finger of your front hand. Feeling the strength in those legs. We are going to bring the back hand around to meet the front, popping off on that back foot, bringing the hands to the ground in your high lunge, and then dropping the knee down into your low lunge, Anjaneyasana, untucking those back toes. If this is hard on your knee, you can bring a blanket or a pillow under your knee. We're gonna sweep the arms up overhead, pressing into that front hip flexor, but making sure that our hips are staying even. Gaze can go up. Exhale, hands come down, pressing back and lifting up those front toes. So you don't want to come to sit on your heel. You just want to come far enough back that you can feel that stretch in your hamstring. So we're in half split right now. Pressing these toes up to the ceiling, staying wherever it's comfortable. If you would like to bend into this a little bit, try thinking shin to shin instead of collapsing down this way. You want to keep that open and keep your back straight. Pressing that foot back down, coming through your low lunge. We're gonna pop that back toe up and come back up into our high lunge. And we are going to drop that back heel, sweep the arms back up into your warrior two. Hands come to the hips, twisting those toes back in. And then we are going to take our leg on the side we started with, step it up to meet the front leg. Inhale, the arms come up. And exhale, the hands come through heart center, Anjali Mudra. So that's one series as we come to this side now. We're gonna repeat that to move back to the other side. So we're gonna inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale into your side bend. Inhale up. And exhale the other side. Inhaling up. And stepping out wide into your starfish pose. We are then going to open up the toes a little wider, get ourselves set, rotate the arms up and back to come into those goddess arms, and sinking down here. Think of coming down a wall. So you want to keep that back straight and back instead of coming down like this. So squeezing down that wall, perhaps coming a little bit lower than you did last time. We're only holding this for a second. Hold, hold, hold. And straighten the legs, hands come to the hips, toes turn in. And exhaling, drawing down. Hands can come to the ground. Taking a few breaths here. Inhaling, beginning to come back up, bending into those knees slightly. Hands come to hips, squeezing the core to bring yourself back up. We're now going to open our toes to the opposite side. Arms come out straight and bending deeply into that front knee, perhaps wiggling that back leg out if you need a little bit more space. Just checking in to make sure that you're not coming in with that knee. You want to be sending it towards the pinky side. And then you can raise the palms to the sky to roll those shoulders down. Noticing the strength in the legs here. And inhaling that back arm up and around. We're gonna pop that back toe into our high lunge and dropping that down. Low lunge. Again, placing a prop under your knee if that's feeling tender here. We can inhale the arms up overhead, pressing into that hip flexor while also strengthening and pulling the hip joints so that they are even. And exhale, hands come down and sinking that tailbone back, lifting those front toes and breathing into that hamstring with your half split. bringing that front foot back down. We're gonna curl those back toes under, pop back up into our high lunge, drop that back heel and windmill the arms back to our warrior two. And inhaling, coming back to straight legs. We're gonna grow light in this back foot here and step it up to meet the front foot. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, heart center. Taking a moment here. Noticing how the body may feel different after a moon salutation as opposed to a sun salutation. And we're gonna come down to the floor. Whew. We're gonna come to a seat and we're gonna come into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So instead of our cross-legged pose at the beginning, our soles of our feet are gonna come together here. You can bring the heels as close to the body or as far away as you need to be able to hinge up and out of those hip joints. So you don't wanna be sinking down into your lower back. So showing that chest out wide, you can hold on to your feet, you can hold on to your shins. Breathing up tall here. If you have no tenderness or injury in the groin or inner thighs, you can maybe give your butterfly a bit of a flap here. And we're gonna inhale and exhale with a flat back. We're gonna begin to come down over the feet. Keep your back straight and your spine long for as long as you can until you hit that wall where you can't go down any farther. Inhale to create a little bit of space, and then exhale, you can start to curl the spine, dropping the head towards the feet. Breathing here. Perhaps closing the eyes, feeling that upper and lower back release. Inhaling, slowly coming back up. We're gonna pop our left leg out to the side here, bringing the right heel up into the upper thigh. Trying to stay even on both sit bones. We're going to bring our left hand around to the thigh, around to the foot, maybe just to the ground. Inhaling that right arm up overhead and beginning to bend over the leg, keeping the chest open to the sky, not coming down. You can gaze up at the thumb, you can gaze down at the knee, but just making sure that you're keeping that chest nice and open here. Stretching into that side body, flexing the toes back on that left foot. And inhaling, coming back up. We're gonna move this leg in front of us, keeping the right foot in at the upper thigh. And we're gonna inhale up high and exhale, beginning to come down over this leg here. Noticing where you hit compression with your thigh bone and your hip. Just breathing into that spot. Toes are flexed back, breathing into the hamstrings here. And beginning to use the hands to rub up and down the leg here. Creating a bit of heat, perhaps stopping and squeezing in some spots. Just giving a little bit of love to your legs. Noticing how strong they are. And inhaling back up, we're gonna bring the right leg out to the side. Left heel comes in, sitting up tall, flexing those toes back. Again, we're gonna bring the right arm out around to the floor, wherever is comfortable here. Inhaling that left arm up and starting to drop over that leg. Again, checking in with the chest. Are you facing down towards the ground or are you open to the sky? Gaze can be up at the elbow, down at the knee. Just feeling that stretch in the side body opening up. Inhaling back up, we're gonna bring this right leg forward, left foot in. Inhaling up tall and beginning to exhale over that leg. Breathing into the hamstring, toes are flexed back. And beginning to rub that leg, create some heat. Perhaps release some tension. Just appreciating your legs for holding you up and walking you around. Inhaling, coming back up. And we're going to come down onto our backs here. So releasing down, flat onto your back. The feet can come flat to the ground, knees pointing up. We're going to come into a nice twist here. So releasing the arms out like a T. We're going to lift the legs up just to about a 90-degree angle, and then we're going to start to drop the knees over towards the right. Watching that left shoulder to make sure that it doesn't lift up, keeping it flat to the ground. So perhaps your feet come down and your knees can't quite reach just yet. Or perhaps your knees come down, you can use that right hand to hold the knees. Gaze can look over at the left thumb, or it can stay neutral or to the right, whatever is comfortable in the neck. Trying to root down through that left shoulder. Breathing deeply into the belly here. Noticing how that feels, having that breath a little bit restricted. But feeling your spine ringing out here. Twists can be really good for digestion. It can also help with women when it's your cycle. It can really help with cramping. Gaze comes up, followed by the legs. You can put your heels down and press into your feet to replace your hips. And then lifting the feet back up, beginning to drop the knees over to the left. Gaze goes to the right, keeping that right shoulder rooted down. Breathing deeply into the belly. Wringing out that spine, releasing the lower back. And inhaling my head back to center, followed by the knees. We can bring the legs back down. And here you can put your arms wherever is comfortable for you. We're just gonna lift the legs up. Now your knees can be bent here, they can be straight, but this isn't necessarily something that we're doing for a stretch. It's just really good to lift the feet up higher than the rest of the body. You can also do this against a wall and just lay with your legs up the wall. You can rock side to side a little bit, massaging out that sacrum, that lower back. If you have a tendency to get swelling in the legs or the feet, this is a great posture to take to release some of that. You can also bring the sacrum up onto a block and elevate that a little bit. Just roll the ankles a little bit here. And bringing the feet back down to the ground. We're gonna take the heels out wider than the mat, letting the knees fall in towards each other, and bringing the palms onto the stomach. Noticing as you breathe into the stomach, how the palms fall away from each other. And when you exhale, how the fingertips come closer, perhaps touching. Just letting that breath into your belly here. Noticing that movement. Noticing how the body feels. Releasing down to the ground. And take a moment here. Just do another quick body body scan, starting at the top of the head. Not lingering anywhere, but just taking a steady scan down the body. Just noticing how you feel after this practice. Not sending judgment anywhere. Instead, sending awe and gratitude. There's no such thing in yoga as doing a good or bad job. The fact that you got on your mat today and took some time for your body, whether you felt like you struggled a lot, you did a great job. Your body did a great job. Releasing the arms down to the sides, perhaps tucking the shoulders under the body to open across the chest. You can leave your knees here if you have a tender lower back, or you can extend the legs out long, letting the toes fall open, coming into your final resting pose, Shavasana. Breathing comfortably here. If this is hard on your back, you can also roll onto one of your sides, take fetal position. Just keeping the eyes closed, if that feels safe for you. And just breathing, observing that breath. Noticing when your mind starts to wander, just checking in, letting those thoughts float away until the next moment. Noticing in meditation, a lot of people believe that the purpose of meditation is to quiet your mind, to sit with no thoughts at all. And if your mind is active, that you're not doing it right. This is not correct at all. The whole process of meditation is those moments when you can come back to the active moment, realizing that your thoughts were running away. And even if just for a second, letting those thoughts float by. Tuning in with your breath in your body. Perhaps the mind becomes active again and you're starting to make lists without even realizing. And in that moment, where you notice again that your mind has wandered, pulling it back into the current moment, that is where meditation is working. reaching the arms up overhead and taking a full body stretch here. Perhaps letting out a sigh or a yawn. And when you're ready, just slowly bringing the feet flat to the ground. And beginning to roll yourself over onto your right side, into the fetal position. Using that right arm as a pillow. Just relaxing here for a moment. And when you're ready, keeping the eyes closed or softened, just pressing into that left hand to help push you up. And coming back to Sukhasana, easy pose, our comfortable seat here, cross-legged. You can also have the legs out in front of you if that's more comfortable. Palms coming to the knees or the thighs. Take a couple of cleansing breaths here at the end of our practice now, like we did at the beginning. So deep inhale through the nose, using that inhale almost like it's sticky fly paper. And with that inhale, gathering any last leftover stress, judgment, disappointment, or gripping. And with the exhale, we're going to release all of that out. So deep inhale through the nose. Gathering that up, opening the mouth, and exhale, let it go. Again, deep inhale through the nose. Opening the mouth. Our last time will be the biggest one yet. Make as much sound as you want, as you need to release any of that last little bit of negativity out of your body. Inhale through the nose. Palms come to heart center, Anjali Mudra, feeling the thumbs pressing into the sternum, perhaps feeling the heartbeat. Gentle bow comes to the head. And take a moment just to pinpoint an area of your body that you would typically send judgment. We're going to take a deep inhale here, sending love, sending gratitude, thinking of something about that area of your body that you love, and just speaking out loud, sending these thoughts to that part in your body. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Taking another deep inhale, thinking of perhaps a part of your life that you're always hard on yourself about. Perhaps it's your job, perhaps it's motherhood, how good you are at saving money, or any of these things. Just thinking about that part of your life here. And instead of thinking of this negative thought that you're always thinking, I'm not a good enough mom, or I am terrible saving money, and instead switching it into something positive. Perhaps you think that you're a terrible mother because you feel like you're not spending enough time with your kids. Perhaps instead you can turn that to think, I do so much throughout my day to make sure that my children are provided for and that they have a great life. If you're thinking something like I'm bad at spending money or saving money, instead switch that around and say, I'm providing myself with experiences and little things that bring me joy throughout the day. And just thinking about all the things that you do right. Take me deep inhale and speaking out loud. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Taking one last deep inhale, we're going to speak out loud one more time to any aspect of your life, of your body, anywhere. Just knowing that you are doing an excellent job wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You are exactly where you need to be. Inhaling. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The light in me acknowledges, honors, and bows to the light within you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. I hope you had even just a minute to appreciate yourself, appreciate your body, and feel that love for yourself and for your body that we all deserve and we are all worthy of. Have a great day.